Welcome to all of you here. I'm glad to see so many of us in person. Oh, I guess the mics aren't on. Oh, I have to move forward. Anyway, I was just saying welcome to all of you, and it's good to see so many of you here in the sanctuary. If you have a person you would like held up enduring of our hearts, you can write it in, put it in writing in a book in the back, or you can place their name in the chat. If you have an announcement, we'd like you to submit it up by the end of business on Friday so we can include it in our pre-roll that we put on here of the announcements. You can find the link to submit announcements on uuclv.org or in the Flash. We broadcast our video feed for virtual attendees. If you wish not to be recorded, you can sit in the back of the sanctuary. So we ask that you silence any of those noise-making rectangles and refrain from using the chat or talking in the sanctuary until the end of the service so we can stay in a worshipful frame of mind. Today, after the service, is the Board of Trustees meeting and the Newcomers Chalice Circle. We're also having a potluck this Sunday. If you are a first-time visitor, it is your guest. You are being our guest. Finally, having your pronouns visible during the service is an act of love and kindness. For those of you in the name tag, we ask that you wear a name tag if you have one. And those in the virtual space, we ask you edit your name. So let's begin with the ringing of the bell. And we have a nice big one today. I'm not sure who's speaking today on why I love UUCLV. Shireen, oh, wonderful. Oh, wow. Yay.
Thank you.
Glad to welcome you here.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for having me today. I brought some notes just in case I forgot my words. So it's so nice to hear all of you guys, to see you guys here today. Blessings. My name is Chinere McDaniels, and I've been attending UU for about half of a year now. This is not my first experience with UU. I also attended a UU fellowship in San Francisco and San Jose. I moved to Las Vegas because I followed my mom here and her husband. They're retired, and they've been a tremendous help to me since 2020. I actually come from a home where I was the eldest sibling of the family. My mom had 3 girls, and I had to be the responsible one and take care of my sisters. My parents divorced when I was young, but luckily I had the privilege to live with both of them at various stages of my life. My mom comes from a traditional Christian background, kind of like African American church. And my dad comes from a traditional Catholic family, and they go to church on Easter and Christmas. So that was all I knew growing up. I didn't stumble upon UU until I was way older, past college, and in my 30s. All I knew at the time was that I did believe in God, but I felt like there was more I needed to know. And that's like I was missing something. I couldn't put my finger on what it was. That caused me to do a lot of late night internet searches on my computer and looking for different churches in San Francisco. And eventually I stumbled upon UU, and their tenet sounded very appealing. The idea that we are all searching for meaning and truth struck a chord with me. So now that I'm here, I'm very happy to be here. The congregation has been very friendly and kind to me, and for that, I'm very grateful. I enjoy hearing the stories of ages every week and learning the new songs that resonate with me, like today. That was such an amazing song that we heard. And hearing about current issues from the speaker every week. I especially liked Hillary's testimony about being a UU member since youth and how UU was one of the earliest churches in America. I didn't know that. So I feel like I'm learning history too. Thank you, Hillary. I also enjoyed last week's speech about finding the right container to fit us, and how even MLK Jr. spoke at UU, at a UU congregation in 1966. I didn't know that either. So as you can see, every day coming here, you learn so many things, and I'm so grateful for that, and that's one of the reasons why I love being here at UU. Because I love being here and fellowshipping and learning new things, it follows that I would also try to support financially what UU is trying to do, which I believe is to love their neighbor. And you have our sign there, it says love your neighbor, so I think it's pretty clear that's what the intention is. And I believe our new Article 2, I think the diagram was like love was in the center. So I believe that's what the goal was. So I think if you do believe that UU has a heart for pursuing love and justice and harmony, then supporting them financially will help them continue with their efforts. I also agree with last week's speaker that contributing financially will also help foster a sense of belonging. You want to feel like you belong more than you will feel like you belong more when you contribute your time and money. So the more you belong, I think the more you'll get out of your time here, and perhaps you would grow more. Overall, I think it sends a positive message to others that you're dedicated to UU's mission, and I think that's a great thing to show. Thank you all for allowing me to be here today, and I definitely love you.
It looks like we have help today for the Chalice Lighting. Yay!
Am I lighting or you?
Yeah, but I need to do like the sign language thing.
Oh, that's
Oh. Okay, I'm going to stand in front and hold the sign.
all right.
We light the chalice for our children and youth. I celebrating.
Okay.
We light this chalice for our children and youth, and for us celebrating the flame of faith lit in each of us, honoring the light each of us bring into the world, in the community we create together.
That was wonderful. And we've already lit the chalice, but would you please speak with me together, words on the screen? We light the chalice as a reminder that together we are a beacon in the desert. May its light lead the way to love, acceptance, and justice as we strive for personal and societal transformation.
Does anybody else have a deaf family member? I've got a deaf daughter. That's wonderful. Thank you for doing that. If I could sign all the time, she'd come on Zoom to see our service. All right, I'll keep trying, right? Maybe we can do a sign language class together, people. What do you think? Maybe. Okay, all right, awesome. So here are the opening words that I selected for today. And first, let me say it's so nice to be back. I missed you all very much. Although Puerto Vallarta, Cabo, and Mazatlan were awfully, here's the sign, beautiful. Hear these words, they come from the Right Reverend Christian Harper, one of the very first African-American female ministers in our association. She currently serves the congregation in Barnstable, Massachusetts, and has been there for 19 years. Whew. Yeah, she's good. She doesn't upset the folks like I do. Anyway, let me share these words with you. This is entitled Each Day. Each day provides us with an opportunity to love again, to hurt again, to embrace joy, to experience unease, to discover the tragic. Each day provides us with the opportunity to live. This day is no different, this hour no more unique than the last, except maybe, just maybe now, among friends and fellow journeyers, maybe for the first time, maybe silently, we can share ourselves.
The Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Las Vegas is situated on the traditional homelands of the New Wuvie, Southern Paiute people. We are grateful for the land itself, for those who have stewarded it for generations, and for the opportunity to worship, learn, grow, and be in community with this land and her peoples. We encourage everyone present here to engage in continued learning about the indigenous peoples who work and live on the land, including the Las Vegas Paiute tribe and the Wapa band of Paiutes, and also to learn about the historical and present realities of colonialism. It is important for us to acknowledge and appreciate the use of the Southern Paiute land as part of our mission to be a welcoming and inclusive place for worship, spiritual enrichment, and exploration within the community. So I'm going to share with you some suggested learning. The saguaro cactus have edible fruit. They are called the truffle of the desert by the Tohono O'odham and have been harvested every summer for hundreds of years. Nevada has also 2 Native American leaders. Consider learning about the history of one of them, Sarah Winnemucca, for whom we have a city named, a Paiute from northern Nevada. We'll be reading chapters of our autobiography and having monthly discussions from March to June. And now we've got our opening hymn.
Rise in body or spirit as you feel called. Spirit of life, come unto me. Sing in your heart on the stirring of passion. Go in the wind, rise in the sea. Moving the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
You're going to do the covenant prayer? We're going to share the covenant now. A covenant is a promise, an understanding, an agreement of expectations as we enter into relationships with members and friends of the congregation, the minister, the staff, and the board of trustees. We as individuals care about our community and wish to support it by committing to this covenant of healthy relations in the following ways, and it's also on the wall over there.
Number 1, we practice hospitality, welcoming all those who enter.
2, we are building a multicultural, multi-generational community that promotes and strives towards justice and works to end marginalization of any people.
3, we listen with respect and attention, and we communicate with care.
4, we are a church community who serves our church community with generosity and good humor, and we support one another in times of joy and need.
5, we strive to encourage healthy interactions. We reach out with openness and kindness to maintain relationship/covenant.
And we acknowledge our own shortcomings and hold ourselves accountable for our mistakes, recognizing them as opportunities for growth and self-awareness. This was adopted January 13, 2019 by this congregation.
Thank you.
We'll now ground ourselves in the present and honor those with whom we share this time. So please settle into your seat. Feel the chair holding your body. Imagine the earth is holding you. Take in a comfortable breath and exhale. Let the joy, despair, and frustration, and even satisfactions of the week just trickle off your shoulders. Let it collect in your hands. Set them down. not ignored or abandoned. They will join you on the rest of your journey today. Let them rest now. Allow yourself just to be present here in this space. And now, if you'd acknowledge the people we're here with, you can smile or place your hands over your heart or give a small wave. Now, if you return to the larger circle we share, if you have someone you would like to be held up, you can put their name in the chat. And I also have the names that are listed here today. Dee, Al, and Tatiana, and Arabelle Tetlow. Are there any other names here? Are there any in the chat, Irma?
We have Peggy Oakes and Diane Lunsford.
Thank you. So may we hold all those displaced and alone, and all the names that are spoken here, and all those we still keep in the silence of our hearts, in love and compassion.
There's been so much going on in our world. There seems to be shootings on a daily basis. It's mind-boggling. The earthquake and the devastation in Turkey and Syria. What words? What possible words? The reality of our dysfunctional human relations that cause harm and discord everywhere on the planet. For many of us, we look to something greater to give direction or provide a salve. Others hope that the great minds of the planet will figure out how to make a more perfect human, right? Figure out how to make us work better with one another. Hear these words from another African-American woman, the Reverend Monica Cummings of the UUA. She entitles this, Let It Be Done. Dear unknown, unknowable, yet known by many names, keep us mindful that we are all related, that when one of us is ignored and treated with dis-ease, we all suffer. Today, let each of us commit to welcome the stranger. Let us move beyond our comfort zones and connect with people labeled different and pushed to the edges of society. We can make a difference. We can transform lives. We can bring harmony and healing to the places and spaces where we live, work, and play. Let us keep our hearts and minds open and receptive to the still small voice that calls us to stand witness for those who cannot stand, who cannot speak, who cannot lead the way for themselves on our universal journey towards wholeness and justice. In the spirit of love, compassion, and community, let it be done. Blessed be, Ashe, amen.
Could we have a couple people pick up the baskets or the bowls and bring them forward, please? Thank you. Okay, we got 2 volunteers. Thank you for volunteering. This is for our offering today. We gather as a religious community to give each one of us a place where we can do the work of many. Okay, thank you. The offering supports the mission of the congregation to be a beacon of love and justice in the desert, and supports local organizations working to make our community a better place. The offering this month is being shared with Selena Childhood Diabetes Fund. The Selena Childhood Diabetes Fund assists Southern Nevada families with costs not covered by insurance, including lancets, needles, copays, and medications such as insulin. The link to donate your offering will be in the chat on Zoom, and there are also boxes at the back of the sanctuary where you can donate. So if you please join me with the words on the screen. With gratitude for the abundance in our own lives, we give for the life of this congregation and the benefit of the larger community. I actually have a different poem I'm sharing with you today because I found this after I had submitted the idea. And this is from Amanda Gorman, if you remember her from the inauguration. And this is called New Day's Lyric. May this be the day we come together. Mourning, we come to mend. Withered, we come to weather. Torn, we come to tend. Battered, we come to be better. Tethered by this year of yearning, we are learning that though we weren't ready for this, we have been readied by it. We steadily vow that no matter how we are weighed down, we must always pave a way forward. This hope is our door, our portal. Even if we never get back to normal, someday we can venture beyond it, to leave the known and take the first steps. So let us not return to what was normal, but reach toward what is next. What was cursed, we will cure. What was plagued, we will prove pure. Where we tend to argue, we will try to agree. Those fortunes we forswore, now the future we foresee. Where we weren't aware, we're now awake. Those moments we missed are now the moments that we make. The moments we meet and our hearts all together beaten, now all together beat. Come, look with kindness yet, for even solace can be sourced from sorrow. We remember not just for the sake of yesterday, but to take on tomorrow. We heed this old spirit in a new day's lyric. In our hearts we hear it. For auld lang syne, my dear, for auld lang syne. Be bold, sang time this year. Be bold, sang time. For when you honor yesterday, tomorrow you will find. Know what we fought need not be forgot, nor for none. It defines us, binds us as one. Come over, join this day just begun. For whenever we come together, we will forever overcome.
Thank you so much, Kem, for bringing that brilliant piece of poetry from one of the bright young minds of our nation. There's a lot of bright minds out there, aren't there? Young? Yeah, young, bright, beautiful. I'm trying to figure out how best to see what I've got here for you. So I started off with the notion of hope-filled meditations of the heart. And that's because I was reading some works by the great mystic, theologian, counselor to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Howard Thurman. Any of you know Howard Thurman? Know of his works? I think I've said it before. He had the first intentionally interracial congregation in this country of ours, All People's Church in San Francisco, founded in the 1950s, late 50s or early 60s. It's still there. So if you go to San Francisco, please visit it. It's small. You know, the idea of being all together hasn't caught fire in America. Sunday morning is still the most segregated hour of the work week, of the week. Sunday mornings. We are an anomaly. The fact that there's diversity in this room is not the norm. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You don't know how important that is for me. I can't imagine not being with the entirety of the human family. What kind of people only like their own? Got a big question mark. As I went on in preparation for this sermon, I read something, and I don't know if you saw this quote. Our democracy's founding ideals were false when they were written. Black Americans have fought to make them true the entirety of the time that we've been a nation. There has never not been someone of African descent pushing the standards of decency and legality into the conversation, the common discourse of this nation. Many of the goals or benefits or achievements of women and other peoples of color come because Black folks suffered and often died to see that America would uphold these things that are supposed to be self-evident, that all of us are created equal, right? I went further. I said, well, I know white folks are tired of having a Negro like me stand up and bark at you about all you haven't done, right? I'm tired of it too. Sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's just the sad facts. So I said, let me find something in this last Sunday of Black History Month to be uplifting, joyful, something to take away, not sorrow to be flushed down a toilet or dismissed as you have a cocktail and say, well, you know, that's their problem. Because really and truly, in my very white Methodist seminary that had 38 Unitarian Universalists in a class of 250, so we were a large percentage of this Methodist seminary, all of us UU ministers that were there heard the injunction by the United Methodists to comfort the afflicted and to afflict the comfortable. You feel me? That's what they teach in Christian seminaries. The Unitarian Universalists only have 2 seminaries in the country. Harvard was once ours, but they disassociated with us long ago. All right? And so most seminarians, most Unitarian Universalist ministers are trained in Christian seminaries. We're not trained, that's right. We're called nuts, non-Unitarian Theological School students. Nuts. And when you come to General Assembly someday, you'll see a huge room with hundreds of UU ministers. We're all proudly the nuts. You got it? America, despite its claim not being a theocracy, is a Christian nation. Am I wrong? All right now. And the Abrahamic faiths have a hold on how we shape, form, and discuss the realities of American life. Isn't that true now? Hey, thou shalt not kill. Guess we all going to hell. Because this nation is full of murder, mayhem, drones, military. Look, I was talking to a Filipino UU minister this week. He reminded me about the 1 million Filipino people killed by the United States under Teddy Roosevelt's, the hero teddy bear, huh? Not. All right. So there's lots of that stuff that could be said, but no, I want to go somewhere. And I said I wanted you all to help me. And so I'm going to need help. I'm going to start with something. And for those of you who aren't theistic, for those of you that don't think there's anything higher than humans, and I had one UU minister said he'd rather worship roaches than humans. Yes, he did. You know him. But for those of you who can't get with God language or, you know, supreme being, just translate the words into something that works for you. Would you all do me a favor? I bet you know the words to Kumbaya. It's in our hymnal, isn't it? Is it? Somebody tell me. It's all right. It's all right because I need that mic that moves. Number 401. If you would open that and sing that with me, and if you have the energy, the wherewithal, the spirit moves you, Kumbaya with me and stand up and feel some joy. Get up and move. Shake your groove thing. Shake your groove thing.
That's number 401 in the grade.
Is that working?
Excuse me. That's number 401 in the gray hymnal, Kumbaya.
Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Kumbaya, my Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. Everyone singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone singing, Lord, Kumbaya. Oh Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's laughing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's laughing, Lord, Kumbaya. Someone's laughing, Lord, Kumbaya.
Oh Lord, Kumbaya. And that's it. Thank you. Because as I learned, please be seated, as I learned about this song, Kumbaya, it's just another example of what goes on in America. And despite what went on, a white man in about 1935 taking those words, saying he wrote them, and getting it, what is it, published or whatever in his name, the American Folk Life Journal or whatever project they had some years back in the time went down to South Carolina and to the Sea Islands in Georgia and found out it's a Gullah and or Geechee song. It was not penned by a white man. He just heard some Negroes singing it and put it down on paper. Well, good on him, but shame on him for taking the credit. There are questions about what the words are saying, and there's some black folks that will tell you that it was an African song that the slaves then were able to put into English. But more likely, it's a song that was put together on those sea islands. The New York Times has a wonderful article about it. You could Google it, and Kumbaya is an important piece that I think people could enjoy. Let me get to this black joy because, I've been accused of being an angry Negro, angry black man. Oh, don't talk to that Gordon. He'll get you. Yeah, you're damn right. Right is right and wrong is wrong. And if you've seen what I've seen, you might be angry too. If you walked in my shoes, you might carry a chip on your shoulders. But that's not what today's about. Today's about the joy that I feel, the excitement that I feel, the possibilities that are inherent in this black life. Not just in black life, the joyous things that black people offer the human family. At the heart of black joy right now is a movement that is filled with scholars and journalists and authors who are describing a resistance, a resilience, a reclamation of black humanity. The joy of black life brings challenges. The joys of human existence brings disappointment, losses, and unexpected difficulties. It's true for everybody, but if you were to, here's a book that we use in seminary called a pericope, where you place the gospel narratives on one page side by side, and you say, well, Mark got it right first. No, Matthew got it right, right? Because they're trying to discern which one of those gospels may have the right answers. Who was copying from whom? Well, we know Mark is the oldest of the gospels, right? Matthew is the one most people quote, but Luke, the last one written, is the one written by a wise, scholarly soul, and it's lyrical, right? But a pericope ought to be used for other things than biblical scholarship. Maybe we ought to use it around justice issues. Maybe we ought to use it around religious understandings. Well, Zoroastrianism says this, Islam says that, right? Then it'd be easy to see who's got what to say. All right, one of you editors might do it yet. All right, so this black joy that I want you to understand and get a hand around. You see, the thing about black joy is that when the issue of race is added to joy to the human equation, it changes things. When people live in a world that devalues them, and that's the typical place that blackness resides in the world. There's anti-black sentiments on every continent. Well, I don't know about those ones far flung, but the ones where most of the population lives, right? There is definite anti-black sentiments. Am I making this up? I've known people from every walk in life. They tell me, oh, you black so-and-sos. You know, you Negroes, and I'm cleaning that up, right? Oh, if you people would only do this or that. Stop smoking weed and dancing. Shit, well, sometimes all we got is smoking weed and dancing. You better get with the program. But the reality is when race is thrown into the mix, joy can be diminished. But that's not the typical answer of the black community. The arts have made black people have a vehicle to lift every voice and sing. Paint it, sculpt it, dance it, build it. Black joy is not something that was diminished because of the ugly attitudes that others have had about black folks. They keep on keeping on. They have not given up. The Pew Research Council has found that black folks are more optimistic than white folks. I don't know why, but black people drank the Kool-Aid and believe. They believe that something good is going to happen. Shoot, I don't know where that preacher got that song, something good is going to happen to you. Black folks believe it. We buy lottery tickets. We play the numbers. We keep staying in America when sometimes I think most of us ought to pack our bags and go. Stevie Wonder left, and Stevie Wonder was living a good black life in America. You understand? Multi-millionaire, packed up and went to Ghana. Because being sick and tired of being that objectified creature, it hurts. It's a weight, it's a burden. So many black folks live with that, but despite the challenge, they keep on keeping on. How about this about black joy and some of the ways they do it? They practice self-care. Now, you may say, well, so many black people die earlier than white folks. Well, if you lived in those environments, you might die early too. But they do practice self-care. They love on one another. Black folks are more likely to go to Big Mama's house on Sunday than anybody else. Family gatherings are central in many of the black cultures of the United States, and globally even, I found. So they practice this self-care by loving on one another. Black folks tend to get children involved. Children are part and parcel, and thank goodness we've got at least one child here that wants to participate with us, but the children are involved. One of the most common phrases you'll hear in the black community is, how are the kids? Before they even want to know how you're doing, how are the children? That's our future. We've been living with this notion of future generations so long in America that that's the most common discourse. How are the children? They're everything to us. They're going, like Khalil Gibran says, they're that arrow that shoots out into the future where we adults can't go. And Black folks need our babies to succeed. They need us to succeed. The Black community spreads Black joy, and that means to everybody. So the homeless, the drug addicts, the wild, wicked, and crazy all get to participate in some of the aspects of Black culture. It's a normative thing to have the broken parts of the family there with the good parts. And I said the good parts. Because every middle-class Black neighborhood I've ever known at some point has fallen from its lofty perch because our relatives who are struggling are still welcome to come live with us. And what was nice, that's why Rachel and Jackie Robinson left Queens. They were in a nice St. Albans, Queens, in a nice middle-class Black neighborhood. And as they saw decline coming, Rachel Robinson said, "Oh no, Jackie, we're going to a white neighborhood in Connecticut." Didn't work out well for the children, though. The children of the Robinsons hated being the only, what do they call the child on South Park? Token. They hated being the tokens in that lily white community, right? So Black joy, though, is about extending some love to everybody. The blind, crippled, and crazy. The drug addict, yeah. I got plenty cousins that are alcoholics, drug addicts, and all. We still love on them. Don't loan them any money. Just give them some and say, go on. Black joy celebrates healers. So there's a particular emphasis placed on those Black folks that have healing powers. Oprah Winfrey, she's a mega whatever billionaire, but the best thing she was offering to many Black folks, and I saw her back in 1979 when she had a show in Baltimore, Maryland called People Are Talking at Noontime. Oprah was always talking about positivity. She didn't rest in that negative place where I go all the time. Oprah was saying, I guess maybe she knew Michelle Obama years ago, when they go low, we go high. Oprah kept it on the up and on the positive side of things. We all have seen the dark side, somehow finding a way to stay up and joyous. Look at this. Black joy affirms that I am not just a victim. We don't have to be victims. Victimization is deadly. You got to believe you have the power to achieve, to push off the yoke of any oppression. Black joy says, I am an agent of change. Black joy rejects the idea that violence, injustice, discrimination, prejudice, and dominance over others are normal and acceptable actions. Black folks are rejecting any and all authorities outside of their own agency. That's why the police are so problematic for us. Policing came out of capturing runaway slaves. Police have not been Black folks' friends, plain and simple. I get along with them, especially now that I'm white-like. It's all good now. It wasn't when I was brown, and I'm gonna cut this hair off so they don't know that who I am. Just tell you who I am. I can do my white talk like Eddie Murphy did on that show when he was Mr. White. Walk like a tight butt guy. Black joy, resistance, resilience, and reclamation. Black joy is more important than ever before. Black joy is the hallmark of what I believe the future for Black America and Blacks, Africans, Pan-African people, wherever they are. Afro-pessimism, which is something that needs to be unpacked, but Afro-pessimism actually leads to a joyous set of notions for Black folks. We're rejecting the negativities and the hardships that have held us down for too long, and we're striving and moving towards positivity. I wanted to sing Precious Lord. Would you sing just a verse of it for us, you two songbirds? They're so sweet. Look at them. Tweet, tweet. Tweedledee, tweedledee. Here we go. Precious Lord.
Precious Lord, take my hand, lead me on, let me stand. I am tired, I am weak, I am worn. Through the storm, through the night, lead me on to the light. Take my hand, precious Lord, lead me on.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. You see, Dr. King loved that song more than any of the Negro spirituals, or I don't even know that a Black person coined or penned that song, but it's a staple in the Black community. And Dr. King always liked to get Mahalia Jackson to sing for him. And that he'd even talk to her on the phone and ask Sister Mahalia, sing that song, you know the song. And she would sing for him to try to build him up. Listen, there's hard times ahead. There's difficulties right now. There's trials and tribulations that we as a people, Black, white, yellow, red, brown, or whatever color you are, I'm pink. Yeah, you laughing, it's true. Pink. Shoot, pink power. But the reality of the situation calls whatever's going to come your way, whatever educational disparities exist between the Black and white community, and they are severe, right? I found out in the research that most Americans graduate from high school. Most Americans are maybe even attempting to go to college at this point. The difference is Black Americans, by and large, are going to the junior colleges where you're spending on average $7,900 and some dollars a semester to go, and the average white American is going to a four-year institution where they're spending some $30,000 to $40,000 per year to go. Separate and unequal is still the normative way of American life. See, just because they said you could go somewhere, I mean you can afford to go somewhere. And just because they said that the laws are in place to, no, that's not the America that we know. Howard Thurman, and I'm getting ready to close with him. Howard Thurman wrote a book called Jesus and the Disinherited. Anybody read it? Jesus and the Disinherited. It's a good read. And here's a quote from that book. The masses of men live with their backs constantly against the wall. They are the poor, the disinherited, the dispossessed. What does our religion say to them? The issue is not what it counsels them to do for others whose need may be greater, but what the religion offers to meet their own needs. So Unitarian Universalism has been a religion that has met my needs for these 35 or so years I've been active, 28 as a minister. Before there was Barack Obama, we had Bill Sinkford. And before there was any ordained women, there was Olympia Brown. And before there were integrated spaces in the nation's capital for kids to play together, there was All Souls Church in the nation's capital. See, Unitarian Universalism has been that groundbreaking spiritual space where American Black folks, if they ever even hear about us, thank you Negroes for knowing we're here. But if they ever even know we exist, we've been on the cutting edge of breaking down barriers. We haven't always got it right. We had a problem back in General Assembly in 1969. Half the black folks left and have never come back. But we're working on it. When I started seminary, there were only 10 or so black ministers in the association out of some 2,000. Well, I think we're closing in on 200. And for 28 years in an association that's 98.9% white, that's good. We're growing. We're going to have a black, Latina, queer president in a few months. That's right. What's her name? Say her name. Sophia Benencourt, an Afro-Latina professor, queer and bad and brilliant. You understand? Our denomination is moving where others don't dare to go. So I'm a proud Unitarian Universalist, even as I struggle and say, where more colored folks? Where the Latinos? Where the Latinas? Where the Latinx? Where the Asians? Sorry to the Connie if I'm being wrong, but I want to see more. I want this to be the United Nations, don't you? Let all God's children, let all the people of the earth come together and be as one. We can do it. Our theology says if Jesus is important, amen. If Buddha is important, good on you. If paganism is your thing, dance the maypole. Oh, I'd like to see that. Wherever you are, whoever you are, our Unitarian Universalism has a space and the heart for you. Somebody sang a song one time, said, children, get on board. Let's get on board the love train and spread our joy everywhere we go. Amen? Amen. Amen. All right. Thank y'all. Oh, I like this one.
Oh, wait a minute. That's right. Okay.
Don't forget to invite Hillary up.
Yeah, I know. I was going to do the call to action.
Yeah, so please rise in body or spirit and join us in singing One More Step, number 168 in the gray hymnal.
Sing out loud. I'm making the place.
One more step, we will take one more step, till there is peace for us and everyone will take one more step. One more word, we will say one more word, till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer, we will say one more prayer, till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer. One more song, we will sing one more song, till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
I had the songbirds ready to do We Shall Overcome. But we could do that any Sunday, can't we? All right. Thank you.
This is time for the call to action. And Hillary, if you'd like to come and speak now.
I need a couple of volunteers on Wednesday at 2 p.m. to come and help stuff the pledge letter that's going out to everybody. So if you can be here, please come. Wednesday, 2 p.m. Here.
Hillary, can we have some treats for them? If they're going to volunteer, let's Kill him with kindness.
Okay.
Treats on me. I'll get some treats. Right.
This is only the beginning of this conversation. It's time to take our curious hearts forward into dialogue and exploration. There are lots of ways you can stay engaged with the work of the Article 2 Commission. You can dive into their reports. A couple of printed copies are going to be available for your perusal in the social hall. Also plan to attend the March 5th service next week, where you'll hear a number of UUCLV voices continue the discussion from the pulpit. And we're also going to have a town hall to discuss this subject before a General Assembly in June. Live your values. UUCLV partners with 3 Square Food Pantry to host a monthly food pantry here at the church. Consider showing up here early on the 3rd Saturday of the month. And early means 7:30 a.m. In March, the pantry is on the 18th. If you're unable to participate, consider donating some money to our pantry fund so we can buy shelf-stable foods to use at the next pantry or when someone knocks at our door. There are also boxes for donation in the social hall. Also, UUA's Side with Love campaign concluded their 30 Days of Love this past week. It concluded with the themes of blessings and liberatory intersections, resources of prayer, body practice, and grounding in gratitude for the work we as UUs do in love and liberation can be found on their website, sidewithlove.org.
These closing words come to us from the first Black PhD in the United States, the W.E.B. Du Bois, Dr. Du Bois. If you don't know him, please learn about him. Hear these words. The prayer of our souls is a petition for persistence, not for the one good deed or the single thought, but deed on deed and thought on thought, until day calling unto day shall make a life worth living. May all of your lives be filled with what's worth living for. May you be prosperous. May you be healthy. May you be kind. Amen, y'all. Oh, we got big chalice.
Right.
The work isn't done?
No, it's not done.
And now if you join with me, the words are on the screen. Release that which was called with love and gratitude, and we extinguish the flame, but not our commitment to being a beacon in the desert. This burns brightly until we gather again. So I also want to mention that next week's service is going to be on Article 2 with Carrie, Marin, Margaret, and Mark. And we're having a potluck coffee hour here in the next room over here. And the announcements are going to continue to roll during this friendship break. Thank you for being here today.
Thank y'all.